About the origin and movement of citrus plants, we know that they have been originated in the Asia, in the center of Asia, and after they have spread in the Mediterranean basin and later also in the Americas. This diffusion has led to the spread of many diseases and insects which are associated with the movement of plants. The industry of citrus is limited by many diseases. We know that more than 30 virus, viroid, and virus-like agents, but also bacteria and fungi, affect citrus plants. They affect the different parts of the plants, the leaves, the fruit, the trunk, the branches, the roots, and have a strong impact in the production and the yield, the quality of fruit, and some of them are considered very dangerous because they can cause the death of plants. So, when one of the key to a successful investment is, first of all, the use of certified plant material. This is a list of the main virus, viroid, and systemic bacteria which spread differently. But we have to know that there are also a large number of diseases whose agents have not been yet identified. It should be also added that there are multiple vectors that are differently diffused in the Mediterranean area and that transmit different pathogens. Most of them are aphids, but we can have also cicadelids and also other insects. The possibility to eradicate a disease is very limited when the pathogen is transmitted by insect vector, and this is the case of most important citrus disease. At a global level, the most important diseases for citrus industry of Brazil, USA, and China are citrus canker, citrus variegated chlorosis, one-lumbing, and citrus black spot. They have been associated with annual losses of tons of fruits and orange trees, impacting the global economy for decades. In Pakistan, we have citrus canker and one-lumbing. They are still present and they are causing different damages. But in Europe, all the diseases are considered or quarantine organism, and only the citrus variegated chlorosis is present, although in restricted areas. Other important diseases are also the citrus tristeza disease, which is transmitted by citrus tristeza virus. This virus is transmitted by vectors, aphids especially, Apis gossypii and Toxoptera citricidus. Another important disease is citrus yellow-wing ring, still not present in Italy and in the Mediterranean area, but present in Pakistan, in Turkey, and recently also in California. Also, this virus is transmitted by aphids, and this is the demonstration that most of pathogens of citrus disease are transmitted by vectors. Citrus bacterial canker is transmitted by bacteria. Xanthomonas citri subspecies citri and Xanthomonas citri subspecies aurantifoli are the main pathogens, but we have also Xanthomonas alfalfa subspecies Citrus melonis. The most important symptoms is the formation of erupent callus-like lesions with a work-soaked margin on leaves, fruit, and stem tissues. The pathogen is very easily dispersed by high temperature and precipitation, and also the presence of constant wind. The only solution, trial, and remedy to control the disease are the numerous spray treatment of copper and also antibiotics when they are allowed. But this kind of solution are necessary only to limit the citrus losses, so they are not considered the definite as the definitive managing methods. Alternative strategies are under studies, especially based on the use of endophytic bacteria, which have an antimicrobial effect against the Xanthomonas citris. There are also some experiments on SARS inducer, and also another possibility is also to reduce the tree row volume in order to optimize the cuttings and limiting the dispersion of the bacteria within the trees. The control of the leaf miner, which is the main vector of this bacteria, is considered an option to control the effect of this disease. Citrus variegated chlorosis is induced by the bacteria Xylella fastidiosa subspecies Pauca. It has been observed for the first time in 1987 in the state of São Paulo in Brazil. And it caused very fast the infection of 100 million of plants all over Brazil. It is transmitted by 11 vectors belonging to the Cicadelidae family and is also transmitted by seeds. For what that concerns Europe, we know that in 2013 in Italy there was a very big spread of this pathogen of Xylella fastidiosa subspecies Pauca, but not in citrus, but even in olive plants. Later, it has also been detected also in other hosts like almond, grapevine, cherries, and plum trees. This bacteria has in fact hundreds of host plants, which which contribute to the diffusion of the pathogen. The occurrence of the disease in citrus, however, has not been already reported in Europe. Only recently it has detected in Portugal in 2023, but in this case we have not the Xylella fastidiosa subspecies Pauca, but the subspecies multiplex. However, the fact that symptoms occurred in citrus has been considered very, very dangerous. Moreover, as because the bacteria is able to have different hosts, we cannot exclude a possible host jump from olive to citrus plant through almond, grapevine, or other intermediate hosts. EFSA, which is the European Organism for the Safety of Food and Healthy in Europe Association, has published a survey card on Xylella fastidiosa in order to describe all the methods that can be useful for a useful survey in order to limit and their introduction and to eventually easily detect also at an early stage the disease. Round-1 lombing or citrus disease, as we know, it is considered the most devastating disease of citrus plant and also other rutaceous species. It is considered a phytosanitary priority in all the European territory and included in the UOA1 quarantine pathogen list. It causes important and severe symptoms in citrus but also in other rutaceous species and leads to tree decline and death. The name Wallonbeing means yellow shoot disease. The symptoms, in fact, at an early stage appears only one shoot disease, only one shoot trees. Wherever the disease has occurred, it has seriously affected the citrus production with the loss of millions of trees. And it is estimated that since the 1990s, more than 60 million trees have been destroyed worldwide. The causal agents are three bacteria: Candidatus Liberibacter asiaticus, africanus, and americanus. As we can see from the FPPO map distribution, they are present in very limited specific areas. The asiaticus is present especially in the America and also in the Asian territory, the africanus in the African territory, and the americanus is spread only in some part in South America. But why is HLB considered so dangerous? We know that it is, when present, it has caused very serious damages. The fact is that HLB is a very complex disease in which the host plant, the pathogen, the vector, and the environment contribute at different levels. The bacterium, Candidatus liberibacter, lives in a particular part of the plant inside the plant's vascular tissues, and it is making very difficult the approach, the containment of this bacteria with antibiotics or with other treatments. Moreover, the short-distance spread of the bacterium occurs via two psyllid vectors, the African Diaphorina citris and the African Trioxeritrea psyllids. They greatly contribute to the disease spread, making very difficult the control. In fact, at the moment, there is no possibility to control these vectors in a very useful and efficient way. Wind currents, storms, cyclones can also lead to long-distance spread of HLB. And its vector, as well as the movement of HLB-infected citrus plant or even plant material which are infested with eggs or nymphs infested with LB, contribute very much to their diffusion. Another aspect to consider is that there are also other host plants different from citrus which can be a vector of the disease. Murraya paniculata, the orange jasmine, and the Bergera keningi, the curly-leaf plant, are considered the important host of the bacterium, and for this reason they pose a risk of introduction HLB and psyllids to new areas. Finally, there is no available cure against the disease or against the vector, and no resistant varieties are still known. About the distribution, the disease is distributed worldwide with the exception of New Zealand, Australia, and the Mediterranean basin. However, for what that concerns the Mediterranean basin, the vectors are starting to migrate. The African psyllid Trioxeritrea is present in the north and west coast of the Iberian Peninsula, bringing it closer to vital citrus growing regions in Portugal and Spain. Moreover, the Asian psyllids has been found in Israel in 2022 and in Cyprus in 2023. And the situation can become very critical because in case of introduction of an infected plant, the disease will spread very rapidly. Trees may not show any symptoms months or even years after infection, and such trees can serve as a source of inoculum, which helps the ancient citrus psyllids to spread the disease gradually in orchards. So in Europe, many prevention measures are starting to be applied because we have understood that the only way to protect citrus is first of all to prevent the introduction and spread of the disease. The import of citrus plants should be done under strict conditions. Plants supplied by government or by commercial nurseries have to be tested for CHLB and important viruses. So, in this case, the use of certified healthy material is recommended. Many attention has also to be posed to ornamental plants like orange jasmine and coral leaf, which could be moved from areas where the disease or the insect still occur. We have also to monitor citrus plants for the disease symptoms and for the presence of the psyllids. If psyllids or symptoms are seen, we have also to contact quarantine authorities immediately. And in these cases, it's also very important the training in order to recognize the symptoms, but also the vectors. We know that the early detection is very important as well as the training. And also in these cases, the EFSA has published a pest survey card focused on well-being and its vectors, describing all the protocols necessary to do a correct diagnosis and a correct also survey. The most important disease for citrus industry of the last 20 years in Italy is the tristezza disease. It is caused by Citrus tristezza virus, a very complex pathogen composed of many isolates of different genotypes and able to induce the different phenotypes according to the host or the Chion rootstock combination. In Italy and in the EU-MED region, the most diffused isolates are the declining isolate. The decline is this particular symptoms, especially present in sweet orange, grapefruit, and mandarin when grafted on sour orange. The only way to control this kind of symptoms is the eradication and substitution of the sour orange sensitive rootstock with a more resistant rootstock, mainly belonging to the Citrange family. But we can have also two other kinds of isolate. Stump-eating isolate are considered very dangerous. They induce these particular symptoms on the branches and on the trunk of sweet orange and grapefruit, respective on the rootstocks. The resistance-breaking isolates are considered also many dangerous because these isolates are able to overcome the resistance of Ponchirus trifoliata. According to the European legislation, the declining isolates are called the AU isolates, where the stump-eating and resistance-breaking isolates are considered the non-AU isolates. This is because these two isolates are not still present in the Mediterranean area and in all the European territory, so they have been included in the list of quarantine pathogens. In this distribution map, we can see that stump-eating and resistance-breaking isolates are present in all the citrus cultivated areas, with the exception of the Mediterranean area. So according to EFSA, stump-eating and resistance-breaking isolates are not present in the Mediterranean basin and are called non-AU isolates, and they have been included in the list of quarantine organisms. However, some research activity and some monitoring activity have described the presence of stampeding isolates sporadically in Croatia and in Cyprus. Finally, we have to say that stampeding isolates are efficiently diffused by the vector Toxoptera citricidus. It is still not present in Italy, but according to the climatic condition, it is likely a possible future diffusion in all the Mediterranean area. Moreover, their presence has been assessed in the Madeira highland and in northwest area of the Peninsula Iberica, very close to the citrus cultivated area of Spain and Portugal. For this reason, the EFSA published a document which contains all the recommendations to make a useful survey of non-EU isolates, but also for the non-European isolate and also for Toxoptera citricidus. Citrus yellow vein clearing only recently appeared on the EPPO alert list for the speed with which it is spreading in some areas. It has been detected for the first time in 1988 in Pakistan on lemon and sour orange plants. And then it moved in India, where it was detected in 1997, and also in Turkey in 2000s on lemon and sour orange. Suddenly, it appeared in 2023 also in California, so in an opposite region, in a very distant region, and it is spreading very much in the territory. So we can therefore understand the urgency with which the EPPO report its danger. It affects not only the sour orange and lemon, but also mandarin and other plants such as grapevine and wild plants like mallow. In citrus, it causes the decay of plants. It causes also loss of production and damage to the quality of fruits. It moves through various factors already present in the territory, like different species of aphids and also the Aleroides citri. So this fact increases the concern about this virus, also because in Europe, unfortunately, this virus is not yet regulated. So at the moment, there is no control for this virus. I would like to mention that the first detection of yellow vein clearing has been done in Pakistan from an Italian professor, a group of Italian researchers, but in particular an Italian Professor Antonino Catara. With other colleagues, it makes different survey in Pakistan, also for CTV, pyroids, and also for greening in Punjab region. In fact, in that period, he collaborated with a project between Italy and Pakistan. This collaboration between Italy and Pakistan was done within our project for research and development in cultivation of fruit, vegetables, and olives between the Pakistan Agriculture Research Council and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Italy. Thanks to this collaboration, the Italian delegation transferred different technologies and also different Italian varieties of citrus plants in order to see their behavior, and also they take many innovation on the mechanical management. In 2015, there was also another collaboration between Italy and Pakistan, and a delegation from the National University of Science and Technology of Pakistan has been hosted in Catania through the Embassy of Pakistan in Rome. I would like to say also some few words about the Malsecco disease, which is a very diffused and destroying disease which affects lemon. It appeared in the second half of 19th century in Greek Aegean island, but it was first reported in 1918, also in Sicily. Most probably the introduction of infected plant from Greece have induced the diffusion of the disease also in this region. It soon spread in all the lemon growing areas of Italy and in the Mediterranean basin. It is a vascular disease caused by the fungus Planodomus tracheophilus. The main symptoms is the pink salmon to reddish discoloration of the woods and the desiccation of the branches with the fallow of the leaves. The direct damages are induced are the EV yield losses and the death of susceptible cultivars up to 60% of losses. The disease affects not only lemons but also other citrus varieties like citron, lime, bergamot, sour orange, and Volcamerian lemon. Many research activities are done at CREA in order to find a solution for this important disease. Recently, we have funded a project from the Ministry of Agriculture of Italy. The project is called AgriVita, and it has many objectives. First of all, the selection of new resistant or tolerant genotype of lemons, the identification of resistant loci. We are studying also some effect on rootstocks. Other activities are also done in order to find new methods for detection and phenotyping, and the efficacy of biocontrol by microorganism and natural compound will be also investigated. About the certification program in Italy, we have first of all to say that according to the European legislation, there are two kinds of pathogens. Quarantine pathogens are those which are not still present in the Mediterranean area, so the introduction of quarantine pathogen is preserved. The quality pathogen, on the contrary, are pathogens that are still present in our territory. And according to the certification program, the presence of this pathogen has to be controlled and excluded in all the materials, plant materials, which are commercialized not only within the European territory, but also in the Italian territory. We have two kinds of certification, a European certification and also a national certification that is called the Qualità Vivaistica Italian. And as you can see, the number of viruses and organisms that have been controlled is quite different. We have a higher control in the case of the national certification program. The certification program in Italy was a very long process which started in 1987 with many modifications which conduced to the last decree published in 2021. In all this year, there was a tentative to harmonize the Italian legislation with the European legislation. In order to guarantee all the commercialized plants for sanitary and genetic traits, all the plants moved within the member states of Europe must have, first of all, a minimum level of quality trait. These plants belong to the CAC Conformitas Agricola Communitatis certification, which is compulsory and which is a minimum level of certification for all the plant material. Moreover, there are two higher levels of certification which are voluntary: the European certification and the national certification, which guarantee for a better quality. The European certification level is common to all the member states in accordance to EPPO certification. And the national certification, Qualità Vivaistica Italia, has higher guarantees, as said before. We have also three categories of mother plants: pre-basic, basic, and certified. The certification has increased the quality of citrus plants and managed all citrus spiral disease, which were quite diffused in the 70 years, have now completely disappeared. These diseases are psoriasis, concave gum, cristacordia, and impietratura. These are very difficult to see in open field, and most of them are present only in old groves or in research plots. However, in 2000, the illegal introduction of propagative material as infected with viruses and varroids has created many problems. First of all, the introduction of Citrus tristezza virus has nullified much of the work done for the genetic and sanitary selection of propagation material. And in the early 20s, the first outbreaks has caused many damages to the countries, and due to the prevalent use of sour-orange rootstocks. The eradication attempts put in place by a further compulsory decree were once again made in vain by imposing a new conversion with the obligation of replacing sour-orange with rootstock tolerant to CTB. In these cases, the circumstances offered the opportunity to replant new growth with better quality, which extended the ripening calendar and were more adequate to market demands. But the use of alternative rootstocks has also created new problems linked especially to the diffusion of varroid. First of all, cachexia in Citrus macrophylla and Citrus volkameriana, and also exocortis, which affect Citrange, but first of all, Ponchirus trifoliata. So the use of pest and disease-free bud foods compliant to certification rules remains the only solution for the long-term sustainability of citrus industry. In this context, the CREA of Acireale has contributed very much since 1993 to the selection of new cultivars with high agronomical standards and better fruit quality. Moreover, CREA has been accredited from the Italian Ministry of Agriculture as a Center for Conservation for Premultiplication and Center for Premultiplication that are compliant to the European certification. This means that at CREA, we maintain all the mother plants of pre-basic and basic categories. According to a process of filiation, pre-basic and basic stocks of mother plants selected for true to type and superior quality traits are produced and maintained in our greenhouses. The propagation material from the Center for Premultiplication is used for the preparation of certified mother plants for the multiplication centers, which are the nurseries, which in turn provide certified plants to the nurseries through a output increase block. To avoid the propagation of possible latent mutation, buds from increased block can be collected too high for a maximum of 24 months from the grafting, but for the clones of cultivar Tarocco, the buds can be collected only once in a period of 18 months. At CREA, we have 70 varieties included in the certification program belonging to genera Citrus, Poncirus, Fortunella, and we have also other Aurantidae and hybrids. All these plants are guarantees for varietal authenticity, superior quality trait, and healthy phytosanitary status. All the mother plants are maintained in two different and separated screenhouse, which are in Acireale, and a new screenhouse will be built very soon in the next years. Our institute is also involved in the release of new varieties. The process starts with the selection of new clones and varieties with high quality standard or tolerance to pathogen directly from the field. First of all of them are subjected to a pathogen elimination process, which aim to the elimination of all viruses and viroids which are present in the plant material. This is done by a shoot-tip micrografting steps. Subsequent, there is a pathogen diagnostic steps in which by molecular tests and also biological testing, we are able to confirm the cleaning of the process. Once selected, the virus-free grafted plant is propagated and subsequently released to the growers with a green label. These allow a preliminary evaluation of the plants in open field with the research purpose. This activity takes around 24-36 months. Moreover, it could be also a further step which can take 3-5 years, which led to the introduction of these plants directly in the certification program. After a step of trueness to type, and also a type of phytosanitary evaluation. All the plants, when registered, are maintained and continuously tested for disease. Certified propagated material is released to the multiplication centers by outputs or assembled plant. In this case, we produce the certified rootstock directly from the mother plants by seeds or by micropropagation. After we graft the rootstock with the bud taken from the bud source certified plants, and when assembled, the certified plants can be released to the multiplication centers. We can also release directly the bud buds to the multiplication centers. In the last 15 years, the CREA has released more than 60,000 bud buds and 1,015 plants. All these activities are done with the supervision of the National Plant Protection Services, which supervises for good sanitary practice, traceability, and multiplication of varietal authenticity. And finally, I want to mention that in order to speed up the certification process, we are evaluating the possibility to use high throughput sequencing technologies in order to detect very fast all viruses and viroids of agronomic significance. The application of AHTS as the routine diagnostic tool is already used in some countries, and it has shown provides many advantages for the identification of viruses and viroid affecting trees and vegetables. Thank you.